I'm John Scholes, President and CEO of the Downtown Seattle Association. I want to welcome you to our City Maker conversation sponsored by Alaska Airlines. I'm here with Lindsey Schwartz, the CEO of Schwartz Brothers Restaurant, here in Daniel's Broiler in downtown Seattle in the beautiful new Hyatt Regency Hotel. Well, thanks for spending some time with us today, Lindsey.
Yeah.
And we're in this incredible space and in your new restaurant here at the Hyatt Regency. Before we talk about this great spot, I'm interested in how you got into the industry. And obviously there's a family history and the second generation of leadership with Schwartz Brothers. But what was your personal first connections into the restaurant world?
Well, it's a family business, as you mentioned. It's called Schwartz Brothers Restaurants because it was started by my dad and my uncle, Bill and John Schwartz Brothers. And they opened the first restaurant, The Butcher, in Bellevue, Washington, when I was 3 years old. And I still remember, I mean, those some of my earliest memories as a kid are of when the restaurant was under construction, of going there with my dad and seeing it be built. It was busy right from the get-go, so it was an exciting place to be as a little kid. Just seeing the excitement. My dad and my uncle were always really enthusiastic and loved what they were doing and excited to go to work, and so I was caught up in that, and I wanted to be a part of it. And
When did they first put you to work?
Well, it was more like they finally let me go to work because I kept asking if I could, and they finally let me when I was 13, and I got to wash dishes. Which I was so excited to do as a 13-year-old. So that was my first job, was washing dishes at the Butcher, and then have done most of the positions that you can do in a restaurant, and obviously we've had lots of concepts along the way. So worked lots of different jobs in kitchens and in the front of the house and in management, and it's just, I mean, for those of us who are in this industry, it kind of gets in your blood and just becomes part of who you are and part of what you do and what you love to do.
And the companies continue to expand under your leadership, and we're here in the Rick House Whiskey Bar,
Right.
which is next to your beautiful new restaurant here, Daniel's Broiler at the
Right.
Hyatt.
We saw that this hotel was going to be built and was going to be the biggest hotel in the city, near the existing convention center, right across the street from the convention center expansion.
So you were paying attention to what was going on here in the market
Right,
and this development,
right,
and it
right.
caught your eye?
And this just felt like it could be an iconic location for us. We're on the second floor, and we have more of a cityscape kind of a view, and that's turned out really well. We're really happy with the kind of view that you get. It's different from our other locations.
The beautiful tree canopy outside.
Yeah, so it's pretty special. And then, this is the biggest restaurant that we've ever done. This is the first time we've ever done breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. So this is a big project for us. This is a big, exciting
What's the
project.
full size of the restaurant?
It's over 14,000 square feet and seats over 500 people. So it's big. It's big.
And then this space, specifically, the Rick House.
Yeah, the Rick House, the bar business is competitive and the crowds are fickle, and while we have this Daniel's concept that has stood the test of time and continues to grow over the decades, you have to mix it up a little bit in the bars and keep it fresh and keep it interesting, keep it current. And so we're always looking for new ideas of what to do in our bars. And about 5 years ago, I got to go to Kentucky and go on a tour on what they call the Bourbon Trail. And it's really fun. They teach you how bourbon is made. They tie it in with American history, and they really make it fun. And I just fell in love with bourbon about 5 years ago.
You weren't a bourbon guy before.
I wasn't a big bourbon guy, but it's pretty easy to become one once you try it. And then as part of that tour, we got to go to a rick house, and a rick house is where they age bourbon barrels. So if you're a whiskey drinker, you know that as with age, the product gets even better. So they have to actually age the product, and they age it in the barrels that are behind us, and they just stack them up in racks, and they look kind of like a barn. And when you drive through Kentucky, you see these rick houses everywhere. They're about 4 stories tall, and they're just stacked full of bourbon barrels. And so we were in one and just kind of looking at how they stack the barrels. It looked pretty cool, and I was thinking that might be fun to do a whiskey bar and to actually build a wall out of bourbon barrels. And so the opportunity, it just kind of played right into this space, and we're really happy with the way it turned out.
Well, as a fellow brown liquor lover, I love what you've done here. I look forward to coming back in the evening hours and doing some tasting, but quite a selection, over 150, I think.
Over 150 from all over the world.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. So
Yeah.
it's a great addition.
Yeah.
You've been in this industry for many decades and seen a lot of change. What's different today than when you first started?
I think Seattle has changed a lot. Seattle has evolved a lot over the past few decades, and it's become this kind of internationally known city that's known. It was known with Boeing for airplanes decades ago, but now it's become this high-tech community, and with Microsoft and Amazon starting here, and you've got the companies coming from the Bay Area, Facebook and Google, to have offices here. So it's really become an international hub. What's cool about that from the restaurant industry is the influence that it's had on food and on menus. And so I think that you'll see a lot more of an international flair to any restaurant that you go to, but to steakhouses where we're kind of known as meat and potatoes and kind of American tradition. Now there's influences from all over the world. We're bringing in a Japanese Wagyu steak, which is delicious. So things like that. For us, even it's kind of funny. About 10 years ago, we actually added a plant-based menu, and I got some funny looks when I first brought that up around 10 years ago. Yeah, why would you do that at a steakhouse? But we have a lot of people that are interested. A lot of international travelers who eat more of a plant-based diet, and then locals. I mean, I think you see a movement in our country now, and probably the West Coast in particular. So, and we put just as much energy into that plant-based menu as we do into the standard meat and potatoes side of the menu.
Well, we appreciate you spending time with us, Lindsey, and the significant investment you and your company have made in the downtown here at the Hyatt Regency at Daniel's Broiler and the Rick House. Look forward to coming back, as I said, and enjoying this space and dinner again, and breakfast and lunch in the restaurant. And we want to thank you for joining us for today's City Maker conversation, and encourage you to check out Daniel's Broiler here at the Hyatt Regency in downtown Seattle.